Hey everybody, it's Tim hitting the beast of the marching arts. Thanks for listening to this podcast at the Marching Roundtable. My guest today, Paul Richardson. Paul, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Tim. It's really good to talk to you again, man. It has been a minute.
It has been a little while. I'm so happy to talk to you as well. Listen, everybody, here's what we're talking about. Endorsed by Drum Corps International, that we have a 1 hour presentation called Paying for Drum Corps, and this is going to help you. If you know somebody that's marching drum corps, if you're thinking about marching drum corps, we have a resource here that's going to be really, really helpful to you. We want you to work smarter, not harder, as you're figuring out how to pay your dues. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And Paul, I'm going to just jump right into it because we're heading into the holiday season as we record this. That is one of the things we talk about in this presentation. It's, listen, everybody, this takes an hour for you to watch this, so you can get some great ideas in that hour. But anyway, one of the things we talk about is you can use the holidays as a way to sort of jumpstart this. So I want you to talk about that first.
Yeah. So I guess one of the cool things about the financial situation when you're looking at DCI, this applies to WGI as well, kind of anything in the pageantry arts where there's those dues that are more expensive than everybody in the activity wants them to be. I promise you, the corps directors who look and see what the final number is for dues this year, they're all shaking their heads and wish it was different too. But the cool thing about that is you have the ability to do donations, and in a lot of instances, they are even tax deductible, which is a fantastic thing to present. And with the holidays coming up, most of us have some kind of gift-giving holiday in our families coming up here in just the next little bit. And one of the best things you can do is tell people what you want as a gift, right? You're actually taking the pressure off of them. You're doing them a favor. And if the thing that you want most is this opportunity to invest in yourself by marching somewhere, it's a really easy ask to say, hey, what I would really like most is a gift of a donation to my dues for this drum corps. And particularly if you do just a little bit of homework, you might also be able to know in advance whether or not that's likely to be tax deductible for them. So you literally might be able to say, hey, don't worry about finding any gift. Here's what I really want most and would appreciate the most. And on top of that, you might get some personal tax benefit too. Like, that's a really easy conversation to have. And this time of year is the right time to have it. So I'm really glad we're taking the time to do this now, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. And that one of the things that you talk about, you did such a great job having this conversation with me and explaining all of these ideas to help people figure out how to work smarter and actually, listen, everybody, you don't want to spend hours wasting your time trying to figure out how to raise your dues. We're giving you concrete things that really work, that have been tried and true. We explained this all in the presentation that you can find at Marching Arts Education. But anyway, Paul, one of the things you talk about is be really honest with people and just share with them your passion. Let me tell you why I'm so excited about this. It's the 50th anniversary of Drum Corps International. I'm going to be on the field. This is why it means so much to me. This is what I'm going to get out of it. Share that with them. I love that was one of the things you made really strongly at that point. And then if you say, and hey, if you're going to give me something for the holidays, if you could make that donation, that would mean so much to me and really help me be out there on the field next summer. Like, who's not going to respond to that? It's just such an easy pitch. You have to be a little vulnerable and really express how you're feeling and how important it is to you. But Paul, people want to help other people's dreams come true.
That's totally true. I've been fortunate to be in a lot of leadership training and give a lot of leadership training. And something that I've done a lot is in a group of people. I always ask, hey, put your hand up if you really get a lot of personal joy out of helping people. And almost every hand goes up. And then I say, keep your hand up if you really enjoy asking for help. And almost every hand goes immediately down, right? So the magic here and the way to be successful where others aren't in this space is to, like you said, be a little vulnerable and get over that fear of asking for help and realizing that people aren't going to see you as needy. People are going to be on some level grateful that you're giving them the opportunity to do something that gives them personal fulfillment, right? Like, we all love helping other people, but there's a supply and demand issue, right? There's everybody wants to help, nobody wants to ask, and so you get a lot more responses. You get a lot more positive responses asking for help, particularly from people who really care about you and know about you. Which again, holidays, family, that kind of thing. You get a lot more positive response than most of us think if we haven't done this before. So that's right. Definitely part of this as well, is just kind of an encouragement to get out there and just ask and show your passion and show how much this means to you. And yeah, I mean, like you said, people can't help but respond to that on some level.
Yeah, let me share everybody another little nugget. Like Paul, you had so much helpful information in this Paying for Drum Corps presentation. I hope everybody will go check it out at marchingartseducation.com. Anyway, one of the things I remember you saying is, okay, after somebody gives you those donations for the holidays or whatever it is, then you write the thank you note, and then in the summer, you send them a picture of you out on the field or in your uniform or whatever, and you just say, you're making this, thank you for helping me make this possible. Here I am in my uniform with the Corps. Here's my best buddy. We're on the road. Like that makes people feel wonderful that they know the money they spent is helping your dream really happen. And then the other thing that you mentioned, of course, is, well, you might have another year or two to march.
Right.
And you have done this sort of goodwill thing to thank them. Then when the next year rolls around and you're like, hey, Aunt Sue, like I'm going to be marching again. You were so nice to support me last year as my holiday gift. Like, would you do that again? Not only is Aunt Sue going to immediately line up, she's probably going to give you even more. And I'm not trying to be cynical about this like gift giving thing, but I just think people want to support you. And when they see that it actually paid off and how much it meant to you, they're going to want to do it again.
Everything you just said is 1,000% true. And like I said about trying to find the right gift, right? Trying to find the right gift for somebody, particularly somebody of marching age. No offense, my kids are starting to get a little older, but you kind of get into those teenage years, and it's really hard to buy a gift for somebody that's going to mean something. So that's really why I say, if you say this is the thing that's going to mean the most to me, it's like a sigh of relief. And then Tim, like you said, if you can continue to give them back that feeling of satisfaction by saying, hey, I told you this is what would really mean a lot to me. And then, like you said, that picture, that video, that email, something during the summer, and just say, hey, thank you again so much. This really did mean the world to me. And the cool thing is, like, all of this is all of this is honest. This is all authentic. There's a lot of people feel weird asking for money, like they're being dishonest or slimy, or like that car salesman stereotype that's out there, like, trying to be pushy. It's the exact opposite, right? It's literally just laying out the facts, like, hey, this is something that I really want to do. Financially, it's more than I can handle, because how many 19-year-olds have that kind of money? Most are in college or just starting to work, and so but then you hit 22 and you can't do this anymore, right? So the only time that you can do this is at a time in your life when financially you're probably the least solid that you're going to be for the rest of your life, right? Hopefully that's the case. So yeah, this whole activity is set up to kind of require a little bit of help from others. And then the most important thing, for me, somebody who's been aged out for a year or three, I mean, drum corps changed my life. DCI absolutely changed the entire trajectory of my life for the better, and I haven't forgotten that. And so I always look for those opportunities to give back. And so, that's kind of part of what the cycle is. If you want to zoom out a little bit and kind of look at the long view, you're a marching member, you're going to ask for some help, and then X number of years later, you take these skills that you learn from DCI, you apply them in whatever world you're going to be in, the corporate world, education, medicine, whatever career path you're going to go into, and hopefully you've learned a couple of financial skills, and you're in a position a handful of years later to help somebody else, right, and give back. And then the drum corps circle of life is complete at that point, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess another thing, if you're feeling a little guilty asking other people for money, just remember that this is something that you will have the opportunity to pay back, and in proportion to how much it meant to you, right? So.
Right. No, absolutely. I think this is exciting. So everybody, we're talking about the do's and don'ts of paying for drum corps. If you go to marchingartseducation.com and click on DCI in that top menu bar, you'll see it right there. You can find this, and you can, like I said, it's like less than an hour. It gives you some great ideas. So Paul, you were so nice to set this all up. You have all this work in the financial world, and you laid it out very clearly. Again, everybody, we don't want you to waste your time trying to raise this dues in ways that aren't going to be effective. So why not take that hour, learn some things that are really going to work for you, and then put your efforts there. So Paul, give us a couple examples of things that are in this presentation that people are going to learn that can help them get their dues as fast as possible.
Yeah, so we kind of jumped right into the asking for money, right? Because that's when you look at paying for for DCI, paying for drum corps, that's kind of the big thing that sets paying for that apart from paying for things like college, right? Like people aren't really going to donate to you for college. There's no, possibility of a tax break or anything like that. Not really. So we kind of jumped into that because that's kind of the unique piece that's open. Having said that, there's some basic, financial education in there too, right? Like we actually start off the course talking a little bit about mindset, because as anybody who's been in this activity knows mindset is huge, right? If you approach an audition with the right mindset, it can make all the difference. You have to get your mindset right throughout the course of the summer, so that way, when you walk out there during championships week, your mind is as every bit as solid as your body has become, through the crucible of the summer, right? So we start off a little bit with mindset, and then we get into some basic budgeting just to make sure that you understand what the numbers are, right? And to be honest, the work I did with a lot of students trying to help them pay for the pageantry arts over the years, that's actually about half the battle, right? If you can just get kind of through the sheer terror of, oh my God, I really want to do this, I don't have the money to do this, I don't know what I'm doing. If you can kind of, work through that enough to just get to the cold hard math, once it's reduced down to numbers, like that's not really hard, right? Not that there's not work to be done, but you can see really, really clearly exactly how much you need. And then from there, the rest of this presentation, we kind of go through just a lot of different options, right? I think of it like a money machine, the different levers you can pull, that apply best to your situation. So again, once we kind of get to the exact numbers that we need, it's really like, it's almost like a menu. Just you're going to look at your particular situation. Are you in college? Do you have do you have some different collegiate options, some scholarship options that are out there? Do you have family in this position? Do you know people who own a small business that that are looking for a tax advantage? We include with this presentation, we actually include a couple of documents too. We include a basic budgeting spreadsheet. It's nothing fancy, but if you don't know where to start, you can start there. And then we've also got a sponsorship letter. It's kind of a generic letter that we set up that you can, email, send, physically present. We kind of talk about the different ways to do that, but we actually even start off with a template that if you don't want to write a letter asking for any donations, we kind of give you some seed material to start with. And it's a letter that has from that seed, I know students who have paid thousands and thousands of dollars. So we know that it can work if used properly. So we wanted to make sure and just get all of this information out there, right? Because this is just a conversation that doesn't happen enough, in my opinion. It's kind of like the dark side of the activity, the fact that it does cost way more than we all want it to. And yeah, so really, really happy, Tim, that we have been able to put this stuff out there, and I truly, truly hope that as many students can benefit from this as possible.
Yeah, I mean, in our culture, we don't talk about money. We don't talk about finances. It's like unsaid. And so when we were putting this together, we really spent some time, everybody, like Paul is really good at this. He's really helped a lot of students. This started when you were working with an indoor drumline, right? And you were happy to help those students, right? So he's had experience in lots of different venues, helping students figure out how to raise their dues, figure out what their situation is, and look at all the options. So we're sharing those with you. And again, Paul, my basic thing is, if I know I have to do this, and I can just take an hour and get some strategies and get my head on straight about it and know sort of how to proceed, that to me is so worthwhile. And as I said at the beginning, this has been endorsed by Drum Corps International. They vetted it very carefully. They liked the information we're sharing. And we contact every drum corps and say, hey, we hope you'll share this with your members. We want to try to make their life easier. We want to try to get your dues to you faster, drum corps. So we're just trying to help, and I think it's a great resource. So I hope everybody will go to marchingartseducation.com. Like I said, click on the DCI thing, or there's a graphic right there on the homepage, probably when you're listening to this. And if you're somebody that knows somebody that could use this, please let them know about this podcast and let them know about this presentation they can watch just for an hour. By the way, Paul, there are also extra stuff that we added. Like if you do end up needing to ask for a loan, or if you do it, there are some other steps that we hope people don't have to take, but we also share some sort of extra bonus stuff around those topics.
Yeah, that's kind of at the end, right? Because at some point, some of you may need to be in that position to have to borrow, and we brought an expert on for a little bit of that too, who's got some DCI and some banking experience. So we were able to phone a friend and get somebody who has you know literally lived in both of those worlds for a long time. So very, very pleased that we were able to do that and at least give you a good starting point if you do have to borrow responsibly, because there's a lot of ways to get in trouble with that. So we wanted to make sure we at least kind of give you some guardrails to stay inside to not get yourself in too much trouble if you do have to borrow.
Right, because I think if everybody's going into the World Drum Corps, I think back to when I marched, like I felt confident that I could figure out how to play my instrument better, how to learn to march. I could show up at the camps, like all these things I could do. But like this part, I really wasn't, I think a lot of people are not good at the money part, and we're just trying to help everybody and make it easier. So we encourage you to go marchingartseducation.com, find this presentation and just spend an hour and get some great information. Paul, before we go, where did you march and what did you play?
Okay, yeah, the resume. So I'm a quad drummer by birth. I marched marched a couple of years with Blue Stars and then aged out with the Blue Knights. And then I had the opportunity to teach Magic of Orlando when that drum corps was still around, which was a great experience. And then, as you mentioned, I was involved with WGI with Gateway Percussion for all 15 years that group was around, and that's where I learned a lot of this and worked with a lot of students to kind of help them pay for WGI and DCI dues.
Well, I love it. You have a great pedigree, and I love that you are willing to share your expertise with all of us in the activity. Again, endorsed by Drum Corps International. Hope everybody will check it out. Paul, what do you want to say as we're closing to anybody who's listening?
I hope this helps out. Share this with whoever you want. This has been a labor of love. This is not there's no way for anybody to make money off of this. This is literally just because I want to see as many people march as possible, because I'm going to be out watching this summer and I want to see you, and I want to see you at your best. So I want you to be low stress. I want you to have the financial stuff figured out so you can just go to camp and focus on putting out that great product, because selfishly, I just want to see some great drum corps, man.
Well, right, and come on, it's the 50th anniversary. Like, it's a big deal. This is a big year. We want every corps to be phenomenal, and we want every corps member to have a great experience. And this is a way to help them sort of jumpstart that whole thing. So again, I guess I didn't say this, but this is a free thing. Of course, obviously, everybody, you don't have to pay anything to watch this presentation, get this information. We're offering it to you for free. And thank you to Drum Corps International for endorsing it. Paul, you're awesome. Thank you for having this conversation, and thank you for all your hard work when we put this together. Well, thanks again, Tim, for putting this together, and I can't wait to see everybody out there this summer. All right, everybody, go to marchingartseducation.com and check it out. Thanks, Paul.
Greetings from DCI. This is Drum Corps International staff wishing Marching Roundtable and Tim Hinton the very, very best on your 1,000th episode. We're so grateful for everything that you have done for marching arts all around the world. Keep up the great work. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Marching Arts Education is the home of the Marching Roundtable podcast and Color Guard EDU. We give you access to the top marching arts professionals through live webinars, podcasts, videos, interviews, and online coursework. With over 1,000 podcasts and hundreds of webinars and videos, there are hours of great professional development for you and your staff. Sign up for a membership to Marching Arts Education to get complete access to all webinars, videos, and podcasts, plus discounts on coursework. Many directors are using professional development funds through their school or boosters to make these resources available to their staff. Imagine what you could do with so many great new ideas from the top professionals in our activity. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and sign up for our newsletter to find out about the latest podcasts, webinars, and new content. Find all of this and sign up at marchingartseducation.com.